Well, that's the Lady of Mariupol, painted by Maxim Palenko. I think there's only 80 made. It was over 3,000 euros. I'm going to donate that to Repower for their auction. This is 55 Quartermaster for Ukraine med packs, produced by Sneagle. And they got to go to Tilda over the next week or two. Insert pouches for the med packs. I've got about another 60 to pack. These are combat lifesaver bags. These are all made pre-ready for the next Repower event here in Stockholm. Ready to go. More med packs complete. The others do not have all the supplies. Some are in Donbass, some will come. And all the tourniquets that you heard about. Made in USA. Imagine that 70,000 trauma bandages that went for cheap because somebody didn't like the writing from the previous war. We'll have that. Back to work. So, waking up to Trump. Yeah, let's get this started. 10 tourniquets. So, I'm a bit delayed going back to Ukraine. 200 med packs had to be packed. They got to get to Donbass. The number one priority is for QM for Ukraine to lay them out. Lay them out, do a good social media to get more money to buy more stuff. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, I watched Joe Rogan the other week. I was in Denmark. Combat medics course. 10 days. Hard work. Half the people failed. Not me. And for those days, I pretty much focused on what I was doing. It was challenging too, if I'm honest with you. It was quite challenging. But I could only do what was in front of me. You know, I used to get so overwhelmed about possible outcomes, things that could happen, that might happen, how to anticipate this and that. You know, I think one nice thing about getting a bit older, I don't move as fast because I don't need to move as much. Sometimes I have to move very, very quickly. Sometimes things happen so fast that I could never even plan them. You know, those are the real things to be concerned about when they happen. But I woke up this morning and when I watched that Joe Rogan podcast, I knew he's going to win. He was going to win. And whether it's true or not that Kamala, she turned down the opportunity to be on there. I could see that as true. I could see that as true. See, he talks so well, doesn't he? He really does. But how's this all tie into Ukraine? Ukraine. Trump is bad for Ukraine. And we keep hearing that. We've been told that. We've been told nothing like that. He's made claims that he can end the war in a matter of a day. In 24 hours, he can end the largest conflict since World War II. Well, I don't think he can. I really don't think he can. Bear in mind, this is the man that said that he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. It sounded good. I don't know how that wall's going right now. Maybe you want to go over to someone like Andrew Mercado's channel. He might be a bit more informed on that than me. See, I packed 80 med packs yesterday. Sweden, it gets dark early this time of year. I was wearing a headlamp. I've got to get 200 med packs packed. I've got to get 2 Hilux trucks off to Ukraine today to take the boat. I've got to get to Ukraine by the end of the week, early next week as well. So, as much as Trump, as much as the American election affects my life, affects all my friends' lives, I can't do anything about it, okay? And let me tell you, I'm just going to keep packing med packs. I'm going to keep collecting money. I'm going to keep collecting supplies, buy EcoFlows, drone components. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to be as pragmatic as I can. And when something doesn't work, I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to change, do another effort, you know. I will do what I've always done, the best I can, you know. Ukraine TBIC, the best I can. Well, what does that actually mean? How do I apply that to my life? Okay, so I am in a 12-step program. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference. The acceptance. That's the hardest thing, and that only comes with time. And even in my short life, compared to some of my viewership, I've got a bit of that wisdom. I've acquired a bit of that over a time of almost 13 years of living a life one day at a time, just for today, living life on life's terms, learning to accept what I cannot change, trying to work around things, you know. There's fuck all I can do about a Trump victory. Do I think it's good for Ukraine? Hell no. But there's nothing I can do about it, and I have to continue. I have to continue and do the best I can every day. And I'd never tell anybody what to do. A big thing I learned in 12-step programs is about attraction, not promotion. You know, and I don't want to be slanderous towards other people I've seen on the internet who champion in principle the same cause I do. But I do hear a lot of preaching, you know, you should do this, you should do that. I've also seen I've heard a lot of sizzle, but I've seen less steak, you know. I don't want to be critical of others, but I wouldn't tell you what to do. You know, Quartermaster for Ukraine, I receive a salary from them, a very small salary, but I pack these med supplies. I do things to ensure that they go from Sweden, from Jonas to Tilda, and anything I can help in between. Like, you know, it's if you want to support a medical NGO, from my experience, this is the best one. Do you know what's another really good one? Because I'm not a shill for anybody in particular. Sorry, I had to stop the camera. I had to look on Instagram to remember their name. Heal Fund. There was another Heal one from America that's crap. But, you know, if you want to support the medical effort for the war, you know, Quartermaster for Ukraine is fantastic, you know. Probably not as big as Ukraine Aid Ops, which I've also had good experiences with, you know. There's things I can't talk about because I don't know about them. You know, I don't know anything about 69 Sniffing Brigade, for example. Many people say they're fantastic. If you want to support Richard Woodrow with FPV drones, that's fantastic. If you want to give me money to buy Maga components, I'll sure as shit do that. Okay? EcoFlows, power stations. That's the thing of the day that makes sense to me, makes sense to a lot of people. But the point is, you know, I can't control you. I can't control the board of QM for Ukraine. I cannot control Zelensky, Sursky, you know. I sure as shit can't get Zelensky back. You know, like, these are all things I'm powerless over. But I can just do what I can do in the day, you know. Attraction, not promotion. Just try to live my life every day that I can do my best. And, you know, if that works for other people, great. You know, I hope yours works for you. Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm really not happy about this. But I'm not a fool not to talk about this because, you know, I read comments on the internet. I read things like from people that you need to talk to this person, you need to talk to that person. Maybe I already know him, biatch. You know, we do things off the internet too, and maybe it's not interest to be public. I say that respectfully, okay? You know, maybe I have factors in my life that you didn't consider, just as I don't know them for you. What I'm getting at is kind of like this Trump thing for me, I perceive it as a problem. I perceive it as a big problem, but I can't do anything about it. I really can't. I really can't. So I just have to pack med packs. That's all I got to do. You know, that's, if you want to do the best you can. You know, today, like, worrying about Trump all day, is that going to help? You know, getting your kids to school, you know, like I know Ali, I know you've got a teenager that's a handful, okay? Hanukkah in the audience, yeah, I know you've got kids, you know, like, that's, humbly speaking, that's your priority, you know, and then maybe Ukraine would probably come second, a very big close second. I don't know, you know, I don't know how it is for you. Everybody has to do the best they can, and I don't see anybody who's on all the YouTube channels, all the Jake Bros, the Georgies, the Rahis, the Starskis, the Brandon Mitchells, you know, Harley supporters. I've always sang that boy praise, you know what I mean, because he's taken so much stress out of my life, you know. My friend Tilda that I work with, do you know how often we tell each other to go fuck ourselves, you know, but within an hour we can still accomplish everything. Maybe that says a lot for our relationship, you know, that we can do that. She's probably the only person I do that, and she does. I don't know if she does that to others. If there's any Swedish men abused Tilda victims in the audience, let me know. But what I'm saying is, you know, there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of infighting. Okay, I once said to a Ukrainian organization that we did some work with, I said, you know, Swedish volunteers organizations, they fight with each other, Ukrainians fight with each other, but the foreigners don't fight with Ukrainians, so we're a natural partner. And the Ukrainian director, that she just smiled, she said, yeah. And you know, the thing is, one thing happened one time that a very famous you know, American volunteer wanted to do something, and Tilda wanted to do another thing, and one of the parties said it was stupid, and I don't remember what one, it was so long ago, but what the lesson I took away from this, but you're making that assumption based on what you know, that, you know, they've made their assumption. If you think it's stupid, like, are you with them 24 hours a day? Are you in their House of Cards, their Game of Thrones? Like, what I'm getting at is it's acceptance. And you know, I had to learn this a long time ago. You know, it's not my fault, the way I grew up. It's not my fault. I put that one on the wrong way. But when I have new knowledge, I have new responsibilities. If I'm to be conscientious, if I'm to do the best I can. You know, my Aunt Jennifer, I grew up with my grandparents, her parents, 6 kids, pretty fucked up too. You know, all the men were involved with organized crime. All the women are bilingual, master's degree, 4 women, 2 men. You know, and I grew up as like the 7th child. I'm somewhere in between, if I'm honest, you know, but like she's the healthiest of them all, and she always told me, you do the best with what you have to work with at the time. And this was always her scapegoat, with the gaslighting between her siblings. When somebody would come back to her or something after the fact, she said, well, I didn't know that at the time. Do you get what I'm saying here? You know, this whole Ukraine war effort, and I don't want to make, I separate it as 2 different things: being a combat medic, being a driver, being a soldier. I know nothing about being an infantry soldier in the war, but I know a lot about being an evacuation driver, a combat medic, and I know an awful lot about being a volunteer and fundraising and working on the internet, where that applies more to you, my audience. You know, the things I didn't know before this war could fill an entire library, you know, and there's things that probably aren't helpful to mention on the internet, you know. I never lie, but truths, is it helpful? Like Trump, you know. I don't know what he's gonna do. You don't know what he's gonna do. I'm not nervous. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not nervous. I'm a bit disappointed, but it's not gonna help me. It's not gonna help my friends. Do you know what I mean? It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help Yaroslava. Her and I talked this morning. Sabir and I talked. He says, well, Brandy, he says, we all gonna get fucked. But how fucked? Nobody knows. I don't know, you know? So I'm just gonna keep packing these med packs. I got 2 drivers coming here at 1 o'clock. I'll send them off with the trucks. They'll go to Tilda. You know, I'm so grateful. She gets from El Coabe these Hilux trucks that are fantastic, you know, to distribute as she sees fit. As long as QM gets money to keep getting these supplies, these pretty ace supplies, you know, then she can keep doing her thing. And she always take care of my friends. We don't get any of the trucks, but you know, nobody's been medically denied. You know, I've got over $30,000 in the bank now to buy the next power stations. That'll bring it over 60, maybe 70, see what comes in when I buy them, because I can buy more units there. You know, I'm grateful. That's what I need to be focused on. This shoulder, because I know in the community post people read the headline. I'd never had an operation on it, but I will have one in a couple of weeks. You know, I'll deal with that. That's why all this heavy packing has to be done for QM, because QM deals with a lot of money and then orders the supplies, and it takes a couple of months. My shoulder ain't gonna be no good. You know, I can drive to Ukraine, I can deliver stuff, but I ain't doing no lifting. That ain't happening. You know, I've had this shoulder operated on. You know, so those are my things in front of me. 2 weeks ago, if you're still here, I don't talk about my personal life. Masa's mum was diagnosed with cancer, colorectal cancer. Her dad beat it. Her grandmother did not beat it. And, you know, she's 42 years old, I think. You know, and I have to plan around that to help her. And so, relatively speaking, you know, I've sacrificed a lot of, I'm not going to say personal happiness, because this is exactly what I want to do with my life, and I've always done my whole life, you know, and I'm quite stubborn. I'll cut off my nose to spite my face to do what I want to do, and Ukraine's what I want to do, but I can't leave her in a rough way. So, you know, radiotherapy and chemo starts soon. There's a new program in Uppsala that's more, the radiotherapy is more specified, with better outcomes. But yeah, I don't never really talk about like my personal, like family and stuff. But point is, relatively speaking, Trump's not my biggest problem. And in your day-to-day life, because that's what you need to be, you know, to be, am I good? Are you good? You know, like, check, how's my mental health? How's my physical health? If Trump is your biggest problem, then, you know, your life's going good. Yeah, I just try to keep it in the day. And, you know, through years of practice, through a 12-step program of learning to deal with my emotions, and I falter. Sometimes here on the internet, I falter too. I've gotten relatively quite good at it, you know. Trump's not my biggest problem today. Just for today, keep it in the day. So the cancer's not a problem today, because radiotherapy doesn't start for another couple of weeks. Me getting the eco flows out is not the biggest problem today. Getting these med packs packed, getting those 2 trucks off to the ferry, you know, giving them the money, giving them the paperwork. I pay for that, by the way. You know what I mean? A lot of the transport, a lot of the combat lifesaver bags have probably, anyway, it doesn't matter. I certainly contribute from your stuff to the QM. It's probably time to do another financial report. But by January, I promise I'll get that done. yeah, just for today, Trump's not my biggest problem. I don't know if that's of comfort to any of you. My biggest problem is these med packs and those guys. And then to go pick up 2 TVs for Tilda and to get to DHL before 8 o'clock tonight. Do you know what I bought? Your money, my money, whatever. I bought my own stethoscope. Because it's all good for blood pressure, but you need your own stethoscope for cardiac, for lungs, for rails, crackles, you know. Yeah, I bought my own stethoscope, my own laryngoscope. I've got one of these. Is it 2 months? Is it 3 months? Is it 4 months? I don't know. I'm going back to this. I'm done with this. There's been a real cognitive dissonance. I've taken care of most of my life things here. When the shoulder heals, the next brain MRI to find out if it's progressive or if I'm just the same level of retard. Again, that's me rambling. That's not my problem today. So I think the more I can keep it just for today, if I can rack up a lot of those days, then overall, you know, my life's going to be better, and I'm going to be a better asset to my friends, better asset to the Sashas, to the Maxes, to the Yaroslavas. That's where I get my satisfaction, you know. Like Tilda says sometimes, Swedish people say to her, like, oh, talk för dina insatser. Sorry, my Swedish is crap. I live a recluse now. Thank you for all your efforts. And then she like kind of smirkly thinks, I'm not doing it for you. Do you know? It's my biggest satisfaction in life, to see as many of these people are well off. But I get to do that here while I'm dealing with all my shit here. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not doing something like this, you know? Fox chest seals, twin sets. Are they vented chest seals? No. Because that was my thing for QM. How much cheaper? How can we buy non-vented chest seals? Well, if you look at the price of med supplies when you're buying $250,000 to $500,000 at a time, not that I'm paying for it, but yeah, that makes sense to buy this many because you can have that many, you know. Quick Clot over Cellox. I will eat my hat for hemostatic gauze. See, I got experience. I'm now a medical professional, but I have experience, you know, so like those are good things I've been able to do for QM that I think personally, you know, like, because when you're buying med supplies to go out to like 20-30 brigades, you know, piecemeal here and there every day, what did I have, what did I like, what was best, what would I want to use, you know. So I do get satisfaction out of that, you know, but it's not actually doing the job. It's not actually being with my friends every day, and I think I'm not too bad at it, if I can humbly say so. That's just a rant. Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing, but I need to keep it in the day. I need to focus on this, and you know, I'm gonna leave that for Georgie's. You know, that's for Jake. I tuned in on Jake this morning when I woke up around like 4:35. I don't sleep, you know, 5 hours. And he was like, oh, I wonder who's going to be in Trump's cabinet. Dana White. Oh, maybe we'll have The Undertaker. Too bad Macho Man Randy Savage isn't alive. Like, Elon, you couldn't write it. You couldn't write it. So I just had to laugh because that's all I can do. And pack my med packs. So I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you. Turn this off. You're slowing me down. I need to get this done.